Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. The nice thing about putting together a targeted list of cards that I want to add to my collection that are relatively affordable is that I get to pick up cards on a fairly regular basis. And that's the case for my 100 vintage baseball cards for $10,000 list. In just 4 months, I've been able to reach 25% of my goal. So I thought I would do a recap video since not all of you may have seen all 25 cards that I've picked up to date. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show off all the cards that I've picked up so far on my 100 vintage baseball cards for $10,000 list. All right, what I'm going to do is show the cards off in order as I pick them up. I'm not going to try to remember which card number it is as I go through. I'm sure I'm going to screw it up. So I'm just going to do these in order, card number 1 all the way to card number 25. So the first one I picked up on my list is the 1977 Topps Thurman Munson. This was one of the cards that I wanted to add to my list because I wanted to complete the player run, which I now have done. And this was one of the tough cards for me to find, well-centered, without any ink marks. So really happy I picked up this card. The next one is the 64 Topps Ernie Banks. Just love that image of him. I always note on the 64s, I love how the player's image goes outside or into the outside border there. It gives it almost like a 3D look, so to speak. One of the things I like about the 64 top set. Don't know if they do it for every single card, but I really like how this Ernie Banks looks. My next pickup was 75 Topps Johnny Bench. Love that image of him, and the color combination just really goes. Sometimes you don't always get that with 75 Topps cards. The dual color border just doesn't always match with the player's uniform, but I think this goes very well, and I think makes this one of the more popular Johnny Bench cards. My next pickup was a Pete Rose, his 74 Topps card. Interesting image there. Looks like he's trying to bunt for a base hit. I don't know, you don't see too many cards of players bunting, so it's an interesting image there that they used for Pete Rose, but that's my 74 Topps copy there. My next pickup, which was one that when I did the video of it, I realized once I got it in the mail and put it with my other cards, and after I did the video and so on, I realized that I already had this card, and this was one of the giveaways that I had for my 2,000 subscriber sort of contest celebration type thing. And yeah, so I did have a PSA 7, so I gave that one away and kept this PSA 8 copy. The next pickup was this 59 Topps Warren Spahn, working on his player run. Some of his obviously 50s, early 50s cards. I'm missing his 50 Bowman and some of the early 50s Topps cards, but yeah, making progress on the Warren Spahn run, and this 59 Topps went toward that. The next one, this one was fairly inexpensive, the 68 Topps Frank Robinson. The next pickup was another 68 Topps. This one, the Ernie Banks. Always love the smile of the images on Ernie Banks. It's rare that you see an Ernie Banks card where he's not smiling. There's his 68. The next one here, love this action shot here of Johnny Bench on his 73 Topps card, running into the dugout there, over the shoulder catch. I'm assuming he caught the ball. I don't know, but it looks like he had a good handle on it. And then rounding out the first 10 is another 73 Topps card. This one, the Jim Palmer. Slowly making my way toward my Jim Palmer run. Now, up to this point, I'm working on just, through his rookie card up to 1980. Of course, he played past 1980. So once I pick up all his cards from his 66 through 1980, then I'll probably go into the 80s and finish off his run there. All right, that was the first 10. Starting the next 10 here. This is one of the ones I picked up at the Strongsville show. The 75 Topps Frank Robinson. The color scheme on this one it's close. You got maybe sort of the matching Cleveland, the scene Cleveland, maybe with that pinkish color, so to speak. But all in all, it's a nice color combination. Start this here. The next one, another Strongsville pickup, was the 75 Topps Pete Rose. Just like the Johnny Bench, I think the color combination works really well for this 75 Topps card. The next one, yet another Strongsville pickup, was the 65 Topps Yogi Berra. His final Playing Days card. After that, I believe this was another Strongsville pickup. I did pretty good at Strongsville in terms of knocking off some of the cards off of this list here. Again, not quite a full smile, but you can still see that just Ernie Banks just loved to play the game of baseball. And let me see. I think this may have been the final Strongsville pickup. The 62 Topps Roberto Clemente. I am way behind in my Roberto Clemente cards. I think this is only the third Roberto Clemente that I have in my collection, but happy to find this one at the Strongsville show and pick it up. Next, we have the 61 Topps Ernie Banks. Again, working on his Playing Days run. Of course, his rookie card is going to be the obviously the biggest card that I need to pick up. But some of his the 70, 71, those last two cards, they're sneaky expensive, and not overly expensive, but they're up there. But for the majority of his cards, they're not that expensive. But this was a nice copy that I picked up of his 61 Topps. Next one here, the next to last Playing Days card of Warren Spahn, his 1960. Another Warren Spahn, and working on that run here, his 1960 Topps. Don't have too many 1960 cards. I really like the design of it with that the dual image there, the color, and then the black and white pose. So there's his 1960 Topps. Then moving back to Frank Robinson, his 64 Topps card. Really like that one. Again, making progress on the Frank Robinson card. A lot of the cards on this list are going toward the player's run. Once I get all 100 cards, there may be, I'm trying to think how many player runs that would complete. Obviously, it completed the Thurman Munson, but there may be some others that, just because of cost, I didn't have on the list. So there'll probably be some that I would still need to pick up after I'm done with these 100 cards, but it'll definitely get me a long way toward completing some of these player runs. And to round out the second 10, so this would be card number 20 that I picked up. Oh, I just love this Warren Spahn card, the 1957 Topps. Just love the smile, just how his cap sort of like is just, I don't know, a little off just off to the side and stuff. The smile, and just the 57 tops design as well. Nice and simple, focuses on the player image. So really, really happy I picked this one up. It took me a while to find one this well centered that I was happy with, that didn't have much snowing, which you can get on some of the 57 tops cards. So down to the last 5 here. Speaking of Warren Spahn, and he has a lot of cards on the list. His final playing days card with the Mets, his 65 tops card. Over here, and then this would be the number 22. See, I told you I'd get lost in the numbers here, but this is number 22, the next to last playing days card of Yogi Berra, the 64 tops. Card number 23, very similar to the 64 tops Frank Robinson, but not quite the same image. It's close. This is his 65 tops card. To me, that looks great for a PSA 4, which is what I'm looking at. A lot of these you could tell. I haven't talked about the grades, since the grades really don't matter to me, but a lot of these you probably tell are in that PSA 4, PSA 5 range, which is my sweet spot, and I think a lot of collectors, a sweet spot for vintage, unless you have deeper pockets than I do, and then you may look to get some higher grades. But these PSA 4s are just, they're perfect for me. All right, card number 24, which is the card that completed my Thurman Munson run. I just did a showcase tabletop sort of display of his entire playing days run. I'm so happy that I finally found this one that was well centered. And then finally, card number 25 is what many consider to be Frank Robinson's nicest card, his 59 tops. So would love to know in the comments, of the first 25 cards that I've picked up off my 100 vintage baseball cards for $10,000 list, which one or ones are your favorites? To me, I love all of them. Again, building my vintage collection here over the last 3.5 years, I've really enjoyed picking up some of these cards. A lot of them, they're not really expensive. When I'm going through some of these and realizing I may pay maybe $30, $40, maybe $50 on average so far, they're not expensive cards, but I just love the fact that I now have some of these great vintage cards in my collection. I still have 75 more to go. I don't anticipate getting the remaining 75 in what would be 12, basically a year. I think it's going to be a little bit longer than that, so I'm not sure if I'm going to maintain the pace of 25 cards every 4 months, but we'll see. Again, some of these I haven't had to spend a whole lot of money on, but there are some that are going to be coming up that are going to be closer to that $100 price point, and some of them even above that. So I won't be able to pick up as many, but I definitely anticipate eventually picking up all 100 cards. So again, I appreciate you watching along, following along in my journey here as I pick up all these different cards on my list. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.